Hmm.
There
Okay, Lynn, you are live over YouTube.
Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. I am Lynn Bruneau, Chairman of the Orleans Finance Committee. Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting. It is Thursday, July 9th. And I've already confirmed that all the committee members and our liaison from the Select Board can hear me. And just going across the lineup tonight, top left corner, that way is Frank Lucibella, and that way is Ed Mahoney. Bottom corner that way below Frank is Bob Wren. Directly beneath me is Elaine Baird. And then that corner below Ed is Russ Lavoie. The very bottom corner below Bob is Nick Athanasiou. And then below me and Elaine is our liaison from the Select Board and also Chairman of the Select Board, Kevin Galligan. And then hiding in the corner behind the black screen is Sarah Eaton, our very best friend forever from the MIS department running the show tonight. And for those of you watching on YouTube, we will eventually get back over to channel 18. So again, introduction to a remote meeting. This is a open meeting of the Finance Committee being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current ongoing state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. For this meeting, the Finance Committee is convening via video remote participation with real-time public access provided currently on YouTube, and eventually we'll switch over to channel 18 on the town website and cable television. The meeting is being recorded for posting on the town website, so beware that others can see you and that anything you broadcast may be captured for the recording. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Again, a few meeting protocols. Remember to mute your microphone when you are not speaking. Remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps to support accurate minutes. And then, because this is a remote meeting, anything we vote on has to be taken by a roll call vote. And when called on, if I haven't said your name, be sure to state your name. And I think we're good to go with the remote meeting protocols. We had anticipated introducing any new members to the Finance Committee, but we do not yet have any new additional members. So we will skip that item on the agenda tonight and move into the next item, which is reorganizing the committee, first meeting of the fiscal year. And what we had done last year, and I think it's a good idea too, is to just review briefly the roles of the officers. And this is taken from the town's guidelines for committees, commissions, and boards, which is on the town clerk's website. And one of the pretty interesting things is particularly the flexibility and the definition of the role for the clerk. What it says briefly is that the chairman presides over the meetings and ensures that the rules of order are observed and that meetings are conducted in accordance with the open meeting law. They have the same rights as other members to offer resolutions, make or second motions, participate in discussions, and vote on any matter before the committee. It's the responsibility of the chairman to provide new members with an orientation on committee procedures, including a review of the charge so that they will be able to participate actively and effectively in the work of the group. The chairman should address problems or impediments to the group's progress, either with the group as a whole or with an individual if appropriate. It is usually a good idea to deal with a situation or potential problem in a proactive manner before it interferes with the ability of the committee to move forward. The vice chairman fulfills the duties of the chairman in the event of his or her absence and performs other necessary duties. The clerk, the duties of the committee clerk include all of the following, unless the committee has formally delegated some of these responsibilities to other members. So The first is to maintain an up-to-date roster and contact information for all committee members. Then keep a copy of the committee charge available for review at meetings. Then reserve space for meetings through the town clerk's office and post meetings with the town clerk at least 48 hours in advance according to the open meeting law. And finally, record minutes of the meetings. Well, here again, we have a recording secretary, so that doesn't have to happen. But we do have our clerk file the approved minutes once we have approved them with the town clerk's office. And theoretically, that's within 30 days of the meeting. And there's specific guidelines for that in the committee reporting and communications. So those are the specific roles and responsibilities. And generally what we do is start off with nominations for chairman of the committee. Can't unmute.
But I
You go.
nominate Lynn to be chairman.
I didn't hear you.
I nominate Lynn to
Oh,
be chairman.
okay. All right.
Second.
Second from Nick. Mr. Mahoney.
I'd like to nominate Bob Wren as chair of the Finance Committee. I think his longtime involvement in the town's most important investments, which are wastewater sewers and regional high school, and his in-depth knowledge about the expense and funding of each is especially important right now.
Is there a second to that motion?
I will second it.
All right. So we have two motions on the floor. Specific discussion with regard to either of these motions at this point. Further discussion. Okay. Russ?
What?
Oh, your light came on around you, so I wondered if that meant you were getting ready to start to say something.
No. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right,
So because long story short is we get two nominations on the table.
right, okay.
Okay.
So I think we can, in this case, we vote for that. We go with the first motion and see how that comes out, and then we would go to the second motion, right? Kevin, is there any other guidance on that? I think that would be what we would do.
I have never been in this spot, so you're paving new ground, Lynn.
There we are. All right. So we have the first motion is to, and a second, to vote for Lynn Bruno as chairman of the Finance Committee. So, and let's see, Elaine and then Nick. So those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye, and we'll start at the top.
Do we, may I just ask a question? Do we have any discussion before we go to the vote?
Well, that was what I was asking for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I missed your point.
Okay, yeah, so is there discussion about this?
Yeah, I mean, let's just cover kind of a recap of this, I mean, Lynn, you obviously want to do this, and Bob, you obviously, and Ed feels the same way. I mean, let's just talk about this real quick.
So would you like sort of like statements from each of us? Is that what you're interested in?
Yeah,
Ron?
I'm just kind of surprised that this kind of coming up. I didn't really expect this.
Oh.
So I just kind of want to get a sense of this. And I'm in some uncharted ground myself, so.
Okay. Well, I would like to continue in this capacity we have a lot of momentum going, and clearly the experience working with a lot of people, a lot of key people in town. And I think that we can keep this momentum going and critically, importantly, leverage this momentum. We've got a real head of steam here in doing some good things in what we've accomplished in these last couple of years. So I'd like to work it on that basis.
Bob?
I think likewise, I have a similar amount of experience. As a matter of fact, I have one additional element of experience in that I worked for a year on the Revenue Committee with Frank before being nominated to the Finance Committee. I think I can likewise say that I have good, healthy relationships with the leadership in the town. We can and do communicate with the town administrator, the finance director, the various department heads as necessary. I think I've served effectively as the liaison to the DPW, to the Nauset Regional School District, and most recently, the OES. And I've been very active, and I've taken, I think, reasoned positions on a number of issues that the town has faced, from Skakit Beach to wastewater to activities at the beach to permits and user fees, etc. So I believe that I am equally qualified and capable to assume this leadership position.
Other comments from anyone else on this?
Just one on process.
Pardon? Go
I have
ahead.
one on process. We have two motions, but shouldn't we be voting for either of the candidates and not vote for one and then vote for the other?
Well, you know, I think what would happen is that if the motion for Lynn Bruno as the candidate, if people decide that they would prefer to have Mr. Wren as the candidate, they would vote no for Bruno, right?
Well, or could you vote yes for two candidates?
Well, you could,
That's the
but
whole
what's going to
thing.
happen, the majority, you could vote for yes for both candidates, that's right, but the majority vote will carry the day. If we end up with a runoff, you know, we'll have to figure out how to do it, but I'm not sure that that's going to be how it turns out. I don't
In a
know.
week.
Nick?
No.
Okay, Mr. Wren.
I have a simple suggestion. Why don't we simply vote secretly via email? We can quickly send a
No.
vote.
No, it doesn't work. No, sir.
Why not?
Open meeting law.
The clerk will read the results of the vote. Okay,
No.
so be it.
No.
I'm trying to avoid
Yeah,
what
this
we're
is,
getting
this
into
is
here.
not, we don't need to have secret, we're not doing secret ballots. That's not part of open meeting law, Bob. I think we would need to just proceed with the motions in the order that they were received, and depending on how things come out, that's the way we will go. So start off with the first motion. All those in favor of Lynn Bruno as chair of the Finance Committee signify by saying aye. Mr. Lucibella. You're muted, or I can't hear you, or maybe give me a aye, okay. Ed,
Abstain.
Bob,
Abstain.
Elaine,
Yes.
thank you. Russ,
Yes.
thank you. Nick,
Yes.
thank you. And Lynn, yes. So we have 5-0-2, and given 5 is a majority of 9, then that's the election. Okay, now we can vote on the second motion, but we already have elected a chairman. Right? But we
I
should,
declare the election complete.
and not vote. Well, we need to withdraw the second motion because we have a second motion on the floor. We do.
I move we withdraw the second motion.
Second.
And Bob, you seconded it. No, I mean, you just withdraw your own motion, and Bob, you have to withdraw your second.
Oh, I see.
I will withdraw my second.
Okay,
That's-
so moving along.